everybody, so this is my Vampire Diaries Season 3, Episode 12, The Ties That Bind review, and yeah, this should be very interesting. I'm sorry about my hair, it's just, I put it up, but parts of it just don't want to stay in the, hair tie, so, oh well, deal with it. Anyway, so this episode starts off with Bonnie having a nightmare, and she's walking through this graveyard, and she's looking at the tombstones of her dead ancestors, all the past Bennett witches, and then she comes across the fourth coffin that is unable to that she cannot open, from Klaus. And she tries to open it, and then all of a sudden, bam, Klaus appears and bites her, and then she is inside of either that coffin or a different coffin. So she's trying to get out, she does a spell, it doesn't work, and then all of a sudden someone opens the coffin, and it's her and at first we don't know who that woman is, but then we later find out that it's her mother, who had left her when she was about 3 years old, I believe, and she doesn't know why she left her. So, and then after that little dream sequence, that it cuts to Bonnie showing Elena where the coffins are, and they're in the witch house, and I just cannot believe Bonnie, just like, really, you can't even keep a damn secret. I think I'm paraphrasing stuff in here when he walks in and he's like, wow, Bonnie, you told Elena. And I honestly expected Bonnie to tell Elena at some point where the coffins were, but I didn't expect it to be this soon. I thought that it would take like another episode or something, but hey, what can you do? So Elena cannot believe that they've been keeping that especially Bonnie had kept this secret from her, and Bonnie said, well, Stefan believed that if you knew where the coffins were, that Klaus could, take someone hostage, like do what Klaus normally does and cause like pain or just cause some mayhem in order to get it out of you and stuff. And I completely understand where Bonnie's coming from, and I completely understand Stefan's reasoning, and it's good reason why Elena shouldn't have known, because we all know what Elena does in those kinds of situations. She martyrs herself, like dude, like season 2, seriously, that's like all Elena did for most of season 2. She martyred herself half the time. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I have this, this is totally going off a tangent, but I just started rewatching season 2 because I got the DVD set for Christmas, and I'm rewatching everything, and I'm just like, wow, Elena, why are you doing this? And it's also really weird walking back and like Stefan's not evil. It's so weird seeing how different he is, and I'm constantly like, oh my god, Stefan's being good here, but in this right now he's not being so nice. So that's weird. Anyway, I'm going back on this, that, here, yeah. Anyway, so Bonnie tells Elena and Stefan that she thinks that she has found a way to open the fourth coffin, that they want to know what's inside of it, and she believes it's. And then she shows a picture of her mother and her when she was really little, and she says, it's my mom. She knows, okay? I think she knows how to do it. And so then thus begins the wide search for Abigail Bennett, Bonnie's mother. Of course, Damon finds out where she is sooner than Elena and Bonnie do, because hey, compelling people can come in handy when you're looking for someone, out of like 5 zillion people that inhabit the world. Anyway, so Damon assumes that he's going, because he's like, road trip, I call shotgun. I laughed at that. And Lena's like, no, you're not going. And he's like, why? Do you want me to send it back with you or something? Like, I'm paraphrasing right here, don't hold me to that. I giggled like a schoolgirl when he said that. I was just like, yeah, come in the back seat, we'll do stuff, I'm a disgusting person. And and Elena's like, no, this is me and Bonnie are doing this. And then he fucking pouts, and I about died. I was like, if I was standing there, I'd just been like, oh, he pouted, Elena, why can't you let him go? And it didn't help throughout that whole part at at Abigail's house, that I was just like, where the hell's Stefan? No, where the hell's Damon? Why the hell isn't he here? Damon, where are you when we need you? You know, that always seems to happen. I think that's like a running theme. Whenever I really want Damon to be there, he's not there, and then not that I never want him to be anywhere, but it's just like weird when he's like not there when you really want him to be, and he's just like not there, and you're just like, where the fuck is he? Anyway, completely off, you know, topic. But then, of course, Bonnie realizes how awkward each of they're being towards each other, especially Elena. You can tell the minute Damon walks in and starts talking, like Elena's just kind of just does the whole, oh my god, I have to deal with him right now. It's so awkward. Still, we kissed. Awkwardness, you know. And of course, Bonnie picks up on it, and she says, "What's up with you two?" And Damon says, "We kissed, and now it's awkward. See you later." And he leaves. And Bonnie like looks at Elena like, "You fucking kissed him." And Elena looks at her like, "Yeah, I was totally gonna tell you." Kinda. Yeah, kinda, sorta. No, not really. I wasn't gonna tell you. You know, it's like one of those things. It's like funny. Anyway. So Elena and Bonnie go off on this trip, and Stefan obviously calls Bonnie and is like, "Hey, did you find out where your mother is?" And Elena tells Bonnie to lie, and she actually lies for Bonnie and tells Stefan that they have not found the address yet. And of course it cuts to Stefan being in Elena's kitchen, and he's holding the Abigail Bennett's little paper thing that lists everything about her. And I'm just like, psh, Elena, why do you even bother lying? If you like, I would know by then that Stefan usually this Stefan, the evil villain Stefan, seems to always know when someone is lying to him, or just he knows things. You know, he knows when something someone's lying. You know what I mean? And just don't bother lying. Just say, hey, I'm doing this, but don't come follow me because this is special for Bonnie and everything. While all that is going on, Klaus decides to appear in the Salvatore house. How did he get in anyway? Has he been invited in? Because I don't remember him ever being invited in. Has he been invited in? Because I don't remember that. Anyway, that's completely off topic. He probably has, I just don't remember. Anyway, so Klaus is, you know, like saying, I'm just waiting in our stalemate, you know, and of course Stefan tries to be like, well, if you don't do I'm gonna throw your family. And then Klaus isn't even, you know, afraid of Stefan. Like, Klaus seriously has no fear of anybody because he knows that he is the best. Therefore, I don't know why Stefan thinks that he could at any point in time like scare Klaus. It's just like, just stop, just don't even bother. And also, while this is going on, Tyler decides to go to Caroline's house and apologize for biting her against his will, you know. And Caroline's just like, what, really? You're apologizing? You bit me. I could have died. Are you really, you know? And Tyler's like, I told Klaus no, but I still did it anyway. Yeah, we know you're sire bond to him, Tyler. You are more of you're kind of becoming a dick like you were season 1, and I don't know if I like that very much. And Tyler tells Caroline that I figured out a way to like solve this or to destroy the sire bond. He calls Caroline's father, who, as we know, cannot be compelled by a vampire because he has this kind of mental ability, like he trained his brain to not be compelled, which is like crazy. And he says, well, I know how to do it. So he tells Tyler that the only way he would be able to defeat the sire bond, per se, is to change into a werewolf on free will. Because that is what he is now able to do. Since he's a hybrid, he can change into a werewolf wherever he wanted to. And Tyler, of course, refuses because he says, no, I break every bone in my body. It's painful. I don't like it. Blah, you know. And Caroline's father's like, you want to be free of the sire bond, don't you? And then he immediately looks at Caroline as if she'd be waiting in the wings for him. I mean, I love Tyler and Caroline. I love that little coupling, but at the same time, I think that they need a break. I said this in my last review, but they totally need a break from themselves, or just Tyler needs a break from just anybody, because he's just annoying me right now. So that goes well, I think. Anyway, So Elena and Bonnie arrive at Abigail's house. They meet Jamie, and Jamie's not Abigail's son. He's just a ex-boyfriend's son, which is that she takes in and stuff like that. So when we finally meet Abigail Bennett, we find out that she was the one who put Michael into the tomb. Michael actually came to Mystic Falls years ago, like 15, I think 15 years, yeah, 15 years ago. I don't know what age Elena would have been then, but he comes to Mystic Falls, and Abigail basically chased him out of Mystic Falls somehow, and then put him in the tomb in Louisiana, and basically she used all her power to the point that by the time she healed, most of her power was gone. And that's when Elena, and then Bonnie just assumes, like, oh, you're useless to me. You have no power. What can I do? Why did the witches send me here if you have no power? Typical Bonnie being like, oh, you can't help me. You're worthless. She just immediately assumes the negative. And it's just so, like, Bonnie just, god dang. She does that a lot if you pay attention to her. Like, I'm sorry, but I cannot stand her. I'm sorry if you actually like Bonnie, but I can't stand her. I just can't. It bugs me. She bugs me and everything, you know. Also, another thing that is very interesting that I forgot to mention before I mentioned what I just mentioned. Klaus sent a hybrid over to Abigail's house, and at first I didn't know what he was doing, like talking to a hybrid. I'm like, why is he talking to a hybrid? Where's the hybrid? What is he doing? Then all of a sudden you see Abigail, Bonnie's mother, and you're like, oh crap, he's one step ahead of us again, seriously? I'm wondering who tipped him off. My immediate thought is Stefan, but of course that's completely dashed because I know Stefan is not for Klaus's side anymore. He's trying to destroy Klaus. Why would he give Klaus information that would enable Klaus to do more, destroy Stefan's plan, you know what I mean? So it can't be Stefan. Who the fuck told Klaus, unless he already knew that they were gonna do that? He probably did already know, because they have the fourth coffin, therefore, okay, yeah, I just answered my own question. Don't answer that. It was just really annoying to me. I'm just like, how the fuck did he know? I was like yelling at my TV. I'm like, how do you know these things? Ah! Klaus, Joseph Morgan, stop being awesome. No? Continue being awesome. I like you. So, I'm pointing at you. Anyway, I'm a weirdo. So Meredith. I don't like Meredith. I don't know about how you feel about her, but I honestly don't like her. I think just for the simple fact, I'm biased in the sense that I hate when Damon gets hurt. So I just like immediately hate the person that has hurt him, even though he didn't really get hurt. She just shot him with Vervain and then took his blood. I was just like, what the fuck is this bitch doing? What is she doing? Wait, huh? Is she like Michael? Does she drink it? Like, what is she gonna do with it? Of course, we find out later on that she cheats. And she's a doctor who cheats, which doesn't make sense for any normal person, but for people, she uses the vampire blood to heal people when she can. I mean, like, I understand that I would not. That's one reason I could never be a doctor, is just to see people die all around me and not being able to do anything about it. And I mean, I understand why she did it, but at the same time, some people just need. Some people, this sounds really mean, but some people, it's their time to go, and I feel that if it's your time to go, then let them go, but don't, yeah, I don't know, she's just, I don't like her. She seems very suspicious, especially when her and Alaric are kissing, and she takes off his ring. That looks suspicious, and she just is acting suspicious, and then her ex-boyfriend was killed in that, in the episode, like an episode or two before this one. She's suspicious, and I agree with Damon. She just doesn't look like a good character, and she's very suspicious. I don't like it. Okay. So, back to the Abigail Bonnie thing. So Abigail tells Bonnie that I will help you. And I mean, I'm not completely useless. She knows herbs and stuff. And then Elena leaves. Obviously, she's leaving and she's talking. And then, she's walking outside. Then all of a sudden, bam, Stefan's right there. And Stefan, of course, accuses her of lying, obviously. And they're talking and they're getting very argumentative. Then Jamie comes in and Jamie's like, who is this? He can't be here, blah, blah, blah. And Elena's like, no, you have to leave. Just go. And then, of course, Stefan compels Jamie to leave. And Elena says, you don't even understand. you don't even see how bad you've gotten. And then of course Elena says, right, out villain the villain, you know, and da 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 da. And then all of a sudden Jamie comes around the corner with a big crossbow and shoots Stefan with this wooden stake thing. He falls to the ground, and that's when we realized, oh, Jamie's been compelled by the hybrid. Connect one dot to two dots, bam. One dot to connect the dots. I don't know what I was doing with the I don't know what that is. Okay. I'm so out of it. Anyway, so that's a thing that happens. And then at the same time that's going on, Bonnie, Abigail puts some green stuff up Bonnie's nose, shoves it up her nose, or just puts it in her mouth. I don't even know what she does with it. She like pours it in her hand, does this to it, and then slaps. I don't even know what that kind of green stuff was. Was it pot? I don't know. It was probably, I don't know. I want to know what that green stuff was. Like, what is that? It was like, what is it? Like, what is it? Anyway. And that basically incapacitates Bonnie and then makes her unable to do spells of any kind. And then they take Bonnie, they put her in the car, and Abigail drives her off to go meet the hybrid. Jamie has tied Elena up to this pole. Stefan is just like on the floor for like ever. It seems like it's really funny actually. And Elena also tries to get untied. And while she's trying to undo that, Jamie comes up and then she starts talking to him. And this is the first time we've ever like talked to someone who's been compelled. And he's like, I don't know why I have to do this, but some guy came over and told me that I have to tie you up and he can't be here and blah blah blah. And Elena's like, well, what about me? What do you say about me? And he said that I can't hurt you. And then Elena says, well, these ropes are so tight that they are hurting me. And she pretends to play like the victim. And then all of a sudden she like seriously knocks him out like really hard. And I was actually surprised how like I wasn't really surprised that she did that because I had a feeling she was going to do that anyway. But the fact that it, like, you know, then after she knocks him out, she starts helping Stefan get the wood pieces out of his chest and stuff. I was surprised at how long he was knocked out for, because it seemed like it took her a while. It would have taken her a long time to get all these wooden pieces out. And in that time frame, I would have assumed that he would have like come up out of his little stupor and been like, what the hell is going on? But no, he didn't. So yeah, they do that. And then after she's done, she reveals to Stefan what has happened between her and Damon, and she says, I don't feel guilty that it happened, I just feel guilty that you don't know. And at that point, I clapped so hard and I screamed so hard. I'm like, oh, yes, she doesn't feel guilty about her kissing Damon. I was so happy, and I was so happy. I was like, yay, she doesn't feel guilty. She doesn't feel guilty. Oh yeah, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. I was so happy. And and of course she tells Damon that she kissed Damon, even though in retrospect Damon kissed her. She didn't. Did she even kiss back? I don't think she did. I think she kind of did. I don't know. I would. But anyway, that's just me. Anyway, so and Stefan doesn't really say anything. He's just kind of silent. And then I remember seeing on Twitter like the trending topic was poor Stefan. It kind of made me giggle a little bit because I didn't really feel any remorse for him. I mean, I kind of like I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't tell him, but I already knew that he would find out eventually. If not from Elena, then from Damon, or somebody would tell Stefan that they've kissed. But I didn't feel sorry for him. I'm sorry. I like Stefan, but I'm sorry. I'm a big Delena fan, therefore I cannot feel sorry for Stefan. He kind of brought it upon himself for the way he's acting. Like, if he hadn't been acting like this, then Elena wouldn't have been so, kissing Damon, you know what I mean? She wouldn't be so vulnerable, well, not vulnerable, but like, so kissable. No, she's already, never mind. So yeah, Tyler changes into a vampire. Why do I keep saying Tyler changes into a vampire? He changes into a werewolf. And yeah, he attacks Caroline's father, and then connects to Meredith, giving Damon's blood to her and him and stuff, and he's coming back to life and everything. And Caroline's father asks Tyler, so how did that feel? And Tyler's like, yeah, pretty good. And then he said, and then Caroline's father's like, great, we'll start again tomorrow. And I'm like, what, really? You got attacked by a werewolf and you want to do it again? Seriously? And Tyler had the same reaction that I did. It's like, are you kidding me? That hurt. I can't do it again. And Caroline's father said, we have to do it until it doesn't hurt. And from what I can tell, we have a long way to go. And I'm like, oh my god, how long are they going to keep this up? Is every episode going to be, oh, Tyler changes into a werewolf again, Tyler's going to change into... That better not be the episode. I'm pretty sure that won't be, but I swear to god, if that starts happening almost every other episode, I'm seriously just going to be like, screw it, he has a sire bond, just live with it, you know? And, Bonnie tells Abigail tells the hybrid where the coffins were, but not before she tells Damon, like, hey, heads up, Klaus is going to be showing up at the house, you better hide the coffins. Of course, Damon didn't have enough time to save all of the coffins, so he saved the most important one, the locked one, the one that we're not able to get in, which of course is the smart choice, obviously. And Klaus comes in, and he of course is immobilized for a little bit by the witches, you know. And I'm surprised, like, Damon was just like, hey, I made that mistake too, you know, like, it's okay, I share your pain, kinda, sorta, not really. And Klaus makes a threat saying that if you don't, like, he basically says whether living or dead, witches care for their own kind, and he said that he will definitely end the Bennett line. Of course, that shuts the witches up, and then they show him the 3 coffins, and Klaus then realizes where's the 4th one, and he of course blames the witches for hiding that again. And Damon says they can't show you the 4th coffin because it's not here, it's hidden somewhere else. And then I don't know why he does this, but Damon decides to tell Klaus that Bonnie phoned him and said, hey, go hide this other coffin, blah blah blah. And I'm like, why the hell would you tell Klaus that? Seriously, you just revealed. Of course, Klaus didn't do anything to him, but I was just like scared for a second. I'm like, Damon, what are you doing? You're digging yourself into a grave. Don't. Why are you telling him that? But hey, whatever. So cut to Stefan and Damon inside the Salvatore house, and basically Damon gives Stefan an update, and stuff like that, and he tells Stefan that I hid the 4th coffin, gave the 3 other coffins back to Klaus, and Stefan says, okay, good, and then Damon says, how's Elena? And he gets punched in the face. I'm so glad Damon wasn't like, oh, what'd you do that for? He's smart enough to know, like, oh, I guess you had a heart to heart or something. And I'm like, really, Stefan, you're very mature. That's a mature way to handle things. And that's when Damon says, oh, I also did this, and he holds up a dagger. And at that point, I'm just like, no way, no, he didn't, no, he didn't. And then I'm just like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It cuts to Klaus inside the mansion, and with his hybrid and all his other coffins. Go away now! Go away. Nobody, go the fuck away! Seriously? Motherfuckers. I hate my brother. Anyway, I'm kidding, I love him. Anyway, he just lost my flow. So, then it cuts to Klaus in his mansion with his hybrids and his whole family. And his hybrid says, well, are you going to wake them up? And Klaus says, in due time. And then he says, I have some unfinished business to do. And the hybrid's like, what unfinished business? And then all of a sudden, he's like, ah! And then he falls to the ground, and bam! Elijah! And I was like, oh yes! Like I got so excited. I'm like, Elijah's back! I got so excited. I'm like, yes! And he's like, Niklaus. Like, what is with them and their accents? Like, seriously, they kill me every time. I'm like, oh my god, so excited. And I'm like, yes, Elijah's back. And of course, it ends like right after that. I'm like, no! Come back! Why do you have to leave and come back tomorrow. So yeah, I was very, 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 very happy Elijah's back. I cannot wait. I hope he stays for a few more episodes and he doesn't leave and stuff, and yeah, and everything. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So, what do you guys think of this episode? Please tell me in the comments below. What do you think is going to happen in tomorrow's episode? In bringing out the dead. I'm so excited for this next episode, as I am with every single new episode from this series. I'm so excited. So yeah, I'm sorry this video is very, 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 very long, but hey, I hope it entertained you for almost 26 minutes. So yeah, please tell me what you think in the comments below. If I left anything out, please tell me in the comments and I'll be sure to clear it up for you. So yeah, bye-bye.